there was a grammatical error in the post. So I was like, how do I tell this person that there is an error in your post? How do I do that and not sound, like a total douchebag, or sound like, oh, I'm trying to tear him down, right? So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go send him a private message. So I sent a private message. I was like, hi, my name is Christabel. Oh, I just saw your post, right? And I really got value. Thank you for always impacting lives. Thank you for, always doing amazing things, especially here on LinkedIn. And then I was like, oh, but there's something I noticed. I feel there's a slight error. So you might want to check that, right? So when I did it, he responded, I think like 5 minutes or 2 minutes later. I really can't remember. And he was like, oh, wow, thank you so much for this and all of that. So what the point I'm trying to say is, you need to employ empathy when relating with people on LinkedIn. You need to understand that these are actually humans. You need to put their emotions into consideration. So people would say, but I don't care. I mean, why would you get upset when I'm correcting you? What I ask them is, if you were to be corrected that way, would you feel offended? Right? There's a difference between correcting someone for them to learn and correcting them to make them feel bad or terrible about themselves. You get? So that's the part of empathy. Basically. Okay, so we'll go back to our slides. Excuse me. Okay. So now we're going to be looking at profile setup. So like I said, your profile is the is the first point of contact. So you have to make sure you put your best foot forward. You have to make sure that you put your best foot forward, right? So that means you have to make sure that your you have to make sure that your you have to make sorry about that. So you have to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is good. You have to make sure that everything is working fine. There's no trouble. So I'm going to use my LinkedIn page to walk you through how your profile should look like, right? So yeah, so I think you can see my screen right now. I believe you can see my LinkedIn profile. Please, if you can see that, let me know in the comments. No, you can't see that yet. If you can see that, let me know so that I can proceed. So we're looking at, optimizing your LinkedIn profile. We're looking at optimizing your LinkedIn profile. How do you get it to that point where people can actually view your profile and be like, oh, I want to do business with this person? Okay, so I think it's up and running. So I would start with this, where my cursor is, which is, the Christabel Ikpen and the Freedom, and you can see my book. That's called a LinkedIn cover photo. I will tell people that on my LinkedIn profile, that's like one of my favorite parts of the profile. Why? Because it gives my profile the extra edge. It gives it that vibe. So a lot of people kind of like don't take it seriously. A lot of people say, oh, but I don't need a LinkedIn cover photo. What do I need it for? Right? As long as my name is there, my profile photo is there. But what they don't understand is it gives you that vibe. So remember, we're also going to be looking at branding, right? So you need to make sure that you have a LinkedIn cover photo. Now, your LinkedIn cover photo, where my cursor is, can be something very simple. It can be just your name, right? So it might just be maybe Christabel Ikpen alone, or it can be your favorite quote, where there is a will, there is a way, right? Or you can get creative by getting a graphic designer to help you do that. Now, the next thing you need to consider is your LinkedIn photo itself. I tell people that you need to invest in your LinkedIn photo. Why? Because, like I said, that's the first thing people look at, right? I have a lot of people reach out to me and say, oh, you look amazing. Your profile, your LinkedIn photo, you look great. Nice smile. That's me being deliberate, right? Another mistake I see people making, especially those guys that are just starting, is I see that they Some people use filters, like Snapchat filters. Unless you're Bill Gates, unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, unless you're Jeff Bezos, that's when you can do that, because people already know you. I'm assuming that the stage you are right now is only your family members and your close circle, and maybe your village people that know that, okay, this person does this, right? So when you're starting out, make sure to invest in your LinkedIn photo. You understand? So you have to, if it's possible, use a DSLR camera. If you have a good camera, phone camera, fantastic. Make sure you're covered. If you're a lady, no unnecessary cleavage, like I said, unless you are now Kim Kardashian, unless you are now, those people that they've already made name. Now their influence would work for them, right? But now that you're just starting off, you need to come out strongly, but you need to come out with a good persona. So invest in your LinkedIn photo. Then the next thing we have is the headline. So where you can see LinkedIn influencer, global speaker, author, mental health advocate, and yeah, so it's highlighted exactly. Thank you. So that's your headline. I've seen people put open to new opportunities, and that's so ambiguous, because I'm like, if I'm a recruiter, where do I start from? Which opportunities are you open for? Or what opportunities are you open for? What do you do? So your headline is the best place for you to say, oh, this is what I do. If you're a global speaker, you put it there that you're a global speaker. If you're an author, put it there that you're an author. If you're a mental health advocate, sell your market with your headline. So if what you do is more detailed, maybe something like, oh, I am a personal development coach. I help you, channel the course of your life to make sure that, for effective living and the rest, then you can properly spell that out, right? But don't make your headline ambiguous. By that, I mean, don't go and put open to new opportunities or a graduate of geography and regional planning there. No. All these things will help you when it comes to what's the word, the keywords and the search engines, because people do search, and if you don't tell people what you do, most likely nobody is going to pay attention, right? So you go back to, so if you're providing services, of course you'd state them here, like what you do. That's if you're a business owner. Now this is for business owners, right? So you tell them, oh, you're into, you can provide services on business consulting, leadership development, social media marketing, brand consulting, and all those things, right? Then they'll also ask, there's also a place for work preference. So it can be, oh, you can have access to my services in person or remotely, right? So the next one we'll go to is about. So if you scroll down, you see that my about is, I don't know how many people have really read my about, but I know a lot of people have read my about. And you'd ask me, how do you know that, Bella? I know that because I get a lot of messages from people, right? So for example, a connection of mine reached out to me, and he said, you got me at, kind of like quoted something I said in my about, and it's like, I just love your persona. I love the fact that you make people understand that, you're human and all, right? So your about is just you telling people what you do. It's about you being the author of your own story, right? So when I wanted to pick my about, I was very deliberate. I wanted to watch my tone, the language, and I also wanted to watch the effects. I was very particular about the effect it would have on people. So I said, oh, I'm not into the whole find the attached language. I wanted a very simple, concise language that people can read and understand and be like, okay, this is what she's about, or this is what she does. So make sure that your about is as simple as it gets, right? Now, if you're looking for a job, what you can do in your about is you can openly state it there. Okay, probably, oh, I've worked with so and so, or I'm a fresh graduate, I have good skills in communication, PowerPoint presentation and the likes, and I'm looking forward to working in a reputable organization, right? So your about is just for you to, in a way, sell your market. Let people know that, oh, these are the things I do, these are the services I render, and the likes. Then of course, if you've pushed out any post, if they featured you in magazines and all, then you need to feature that on your profile. So when my website went live, when I googled myself, I noticed that it was appearing, I think, the third page. And that was bad for business, because when people Google me, I want them to be able to see my my website. I want them to be able to say, oh, this is what she does, and the likes. But then when they Googled, they didn't have access to my website. But something happened when I moved my what's it called, when I featured my website on my profile. It jumped from the third page. Now it's, I think, when you Google Christabel, you can see it is on the second page, right? So your feature aspect is actually very, very important. If you have articles that you've written, feature it. If you have a post out there that did well, make sure you also feature that on make sure you also feature that on your LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so that's about that. That's about that. So we'll also look at your experiences, where you've worked, the position held, and the activities. Mine, I didn't really go into details, but you can see that, oh, I worked for Pariso as a support analyst. I was a loan officer, here, you know, um, an estate surveyor, with Dapo Olaya, and the rest. So you see, it's important for you to actually put all those things there. Then go to your education, of course, no brainer, you need to put it there. Licenses and certifications, this is very important. So when I started out, one thing I did was, I don't know if you've used your LinkedIn free premium trial. Now, if you haven't used that, I would say use it and then take as many certification as possible, courses as possible, and make sure to get certified. Right, what that does for you is it kind of like boosts your profile. It gives you that unfair advantage. It makes people know that, oh, you invest in your personal development. And as a personal development coach, I can tell you firsthand that people who develop themselves, their skills, right, these are the people that organizations want to work with, or want them to work for them, basically. Okay, so then your skills and endorsements, um, make sure to get endorsed, especially some skills, right? So if you're you have some skills you can list out, like public speaking, Microsoft Office, customer service. Get your connections to endorse you. Now you can do that by you can do it in two ways, right? So the first is you would openly reach out to them and be like, hi, please, can you endorse me? Which is not so effective, because sometimes people would ignore. Or you could take the initiative, and this is what I do. So when I just connect with someone for the first time, I don't do that anymore, but I used to do that before. I would check out your profile and endorse you on some skills. Now, when I do that, I would now send you a message and be like, hello, Ayo. It's great connecting with you. I just endorsed you for some skills. Please, can you return the favor? I'd really appreciate it. Now, this is reverse psychology. The person would feel indebted to you, right? And then the person would be like, oh, sure, not a problem, right? Because you've endorsed me, so I need to return the favor. So that's like a very effective way to do that. Get people to, what's the word? Endorse people, and then tell them to endorse you. And then recommendations. I get this a lot. People send me messages and say, oh, Christabel, please, can you recommend me? And I'm like, I cannot recommend you because I haven't done business with you. Right? So recommendation is more personal compared to skills. Now, I can endorse you on some skills, but for me to actually recommend you, that means I've done, probably a job with you, or maybe we worked on the same team in the office or something. There must be a factor joining us together, right? So if there is nothing joining us together, then I won't recommend you. So one way to get people to recommend you is when you do a job for someone. So let's say you're a freelancer, right? And you deliver a job to your client. You can take it a step further by asking them nicely. Trust me, when you ask them, they will do it for you and be like, oh, please, can you recommend me? Especially if they are pleased with your services. And so once they do that, it kind of like boosts your, what's it called, your profile. So I think I have like 5 recommendations, right? I have one from a client that I worked with February. I have one from a thought leader, someone I really admire, you know. So recommendations are good. I've had people reach out to me and say, oh, I contacted you because, you know, this person said this about you. Word of mouth. Recommendation is more like word of mouth. It's me endorsing you and saying, oh, you can trust Isaac. You can trust Ayo. You can do business with them, right? Because I've done business with them. And lastly, you need to put your accomplishments, as minute as it might be. I'm sure you can see mine here. Best graduating student, best behaved student. If you're the most liked child in your family, put it there. If you're, you know, if everybody sings your praise, put it there. Remember, yeah, remember that you're putting your best foot forward when you're handling, when you're, so that should be the focus. That should be what's on your mind when you're actually, you know, talking about your profile setup and the likes. So I hope, you know, you got value. I hope that made perfect sense. That's, you know, one of the things that you can do. Then now we'll talk about posts. You know, the type of post that you can push out. You know, I've said it before. When I started off on LinkedIn, I had issues with, you know, actually posting. I didn't know what to post. In fact, I didn't know how to go about it. And I remember my first post, I had to do sign of the cross. I think I did like for 5 or 10 times. I know my colleague was like, just post it. I was like, just post it, Bella. You know, but I was so anxious because I was so anxious because I didn't know what to expect, right? I didn't know if people were going to say, oh, who is this person? You know, what's she feeling like? Who knows you? I didn't have any of those things. So it was very difficult for me. But then I said, you know what? I would rather try than just wait and hope for something to happen. And so that was what I did. I just did my sign of the cross and I clicked on post. And I've never looked back since then. So if you're just starting off, I get that it might be a bit, you know, I get that it might be a bit stressful. You might be a bit unsure. Like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? I'm here to tell you, do it, right? Nobody will kill you. You will not die. You will learn from your mistake and you will move on. That's it. Nobody will remember it, right? So what are the types of posts you can push out? So for me, when I started with motivational posts because I feel I'm a very positive person. I don't like negativity. So I want to project that not only when dealing with my clients, but when I'm with people, right? So I felt that was a very good way to introduce myself on LinkedIn, right? So I shared motivational stuff. I told them, oh, you know, it's okay to fail. It's okay if you fail, but what's not okay is just feeling hopeless, like, oh, there's nothing that can be done. So I made sure I made them understand that, you know, that's not the end of the world. So I did motivational, what's it called, posts. I pushed out posts from my own personal experiences. You know, for example, I shared my journey on overcoming depression. That was a bit difficult to talk about, but when I saw that suicide rates in Nigeria is going, is it at arithmetic progression or geometric progression? It's just, you know, and I'm like, no, this is, you know, I need to make people understand that it's okay. You know, these things happen, but what's not okay is wallowing in self-pity, right? So when I shared my journey, you know, on overcoming depression or battling with depression, I felt a lot of people could identify with me. A lot of people were like, oh, okay, yeah, so that means she feels what people feels, right? She's not, she's not macho, she's not, she has feelings and she has struggles. And that's one thing. Your post should be authentic. You need to be yourself. You can't portray what you're not. So I see a lot of people making that mistake. They want to come out all strong. They want to show that they got it. You got nothing. Everybody is struggling one way or the other. Now, if people can relate with what you're going through or relate to what you're going through, then there's every probability that, they start taking you seriously. Like, okay, this person says it as it is. Most times when I push out posts like that from my own experience, and people are like, you're just too, what's the word they use? They say, oh, Christabel, you're just too plain, right? Like, you just say it as it is, because I owe you guys that much. Like, who am I going to, why should I deceive my helper? Do I know if my helper is, if people are my helpers, I will not come and tell you that I have Range Rover when it's Camry I have. It doesn't make any sense, right? So note that when you're pushing out your posts, make sure that those posts are genuine. You don't have to pretend. Say it the way it is, right? Make sure that your message is concise. So it can be motivational, it can be, what's it called, from your own experiences. It can be from other people's experiences. Let me tell you something. There are times that I'm scrolling through my feed on LinkedIn, and then I see a post, and I'm like, oh, that's true. I can resonate with this post. And I'm like, I share the same story, but my own experience, right? So those are the things. If you're just starting off, you can start out with motivational quotes, videos, your own personal story, and just take it one step at a time, right? And then support them with with something visually appealing. So for me, sometimes I use my photos. Sometimes I use, other people's photos. Sometimes I use catchy images, right? That, probably I got online or something. As long as you're giving, what's it called? As long as you're giving, what was the word? When you give people what's due, credit, yeah, exactly. As long as you're giving them credit for their works, I think you're fine, right? So that's that. So the next thing I want to talk about is messaging. Right? Messaging. How do you, because if you don't know, if you come, let me just say it right now. If you come to my inbox and drop hello, I will not reply. Yes. The universe is hearing me and they are bearing me witness. I won't reply. Why won't I reply? Because hello doesn't signify anything. Hello doesn't make me understand what you want, right? So people come and people say, oh, Christabel, hello. And some of them will even say, some people will even come and say, oh, hello, my dear, have you eaten? Please answer me. All those things. And I'm like, that's not how, it doesn't work that way. How do you draft your messages that when you send me a message, when I receive your message in my inbox, I have no other reason, there's nothing else I can do than just to reply you. So there's a way to do this thing, right? There's a way to go about it. So what you do, and I have like an outline. I think I'll quickly share that. So I have like an outline. Okay, I'll quickly share that so you guys can see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so how do you now draft your messages? So you just connected with someone on LinkedIn and you're like, how do I, maybe you want to be featured, maybe you want to speak at their event, maybe you're a public speaker, right? Or maybe you want them to do, you want to have them speak at your own event, or you're looking for something, because the truth of the matter is we're all looking for something. That's the truth. So how do you now draft your message in a way that this person can actually, respond? So I have a draft. What I say is, you start by saying hello, definitely, and then you include their first name. So, for example, you have, hello, Janet, right? You include your first name. I trust your day is coming on great. Courtesy. You need to make them understand that you care. So I can't just come and say, hello, so please, I want you to help me do this. No, who does that? That doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't. It kind of like rubs off on people differently. Like, who do you think you are? How can you just come and say, hello, come and do this for me? It doesn't work that way. So what you do, you'll be like, hello, Janet. And then you start, I trust your day is coming on great. Ask about their well-being. I hope you're good. I hope you're doing great. Oh, I hope you're staying safe, especially with this COVID, outbreak and the rest. And then you now briefly introduce yourself. My name is Christabel Ikpen, and I'm an international speaker and author. Something simple and brief. Or, oh, my name is Tosin, and I'm an email marketer, right? I was wondering if you would have me speak at your upcoming XYZ event. I have no doubt that your participants would get immense value. Now, after, briefly introducing yourself, you can now sell yourself or make your request, right? The next thing I think I omitted here is you can now go as well as applauding them for the things that they are doing. So if the person is like probably a mental health advocate like myself, you can now tell them, oh, I can see what you're doing as a mental health advocate. I saw you just wrote a new book. Please, can you share the link with me? I'd like to have a copy, anticipating your swift response, blah, 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 bye. Let me tell you, they would respond. Why? Because there is an active call to action, CTA. Right? So you've asked them something that they need to say. So it's not just about you going to your, to someone's inbox and then dropping hello, and then you're now crying foul and saying, oh, nobody is giving me attention, or nobody is responding to my messages. And you know what even makes me laugh is a lot of people are unteachable. By unteachable, I mean a lot of people, when you correct them, they don't want to learn. Because I remember, I think I've really pushed the post. I think I pushed the post out like twice on my LinkedIn, where I talk about why your messages are getting ignored. And then you still have people in your comments telling you, saying, if somebody says hello, you have to answer. No, I don't have to answer. Because you're not me. I don't have to answer. Right? You're the one looking for something. So you need to make sure that you're sealing your own end of the bargain. You need to make sure that the things you're doing, you're on your own path, you've scaled it. And then leave it for the next person. Don't now make it look like, oh, the person will now come and say, I didn't respond to your message because I'm still waiting for what comes after hello. Don't let the fall be from you. So you need to be teachable, yeah? Don't go and be dropping hello. You won't be getting results. People won't be responding. I don't even respond now to hello. If you drop hello, I archive the message and I move on, right? Then the next thing I want to talk about is, building your connection. A lot of people say, oh, my profile is top-notch. I've done this. My profile photo is fantastic right now. How do I, but the requests are not coming in. And I tell them the requests are not coming in because you need to start pushing out invites. You need to start, requesting to add people to your network. Remember, you're just starting off. Nobody knows you yet, right? But the good thing about it is, especially if your profile is set up, is when you send out those requests and they look at your profile, they can connect with you. I don't know, you can see the correlation. They can connect with you. They can now say, oh, yes, oh, this person is doing this person is into that, or we can do business together and the likes. But if your profile is not top-notch, you've not optimized your LinkedIn profile, and you're pushing out requests, most of the times it will be declined. And then LinkedIn will even sanction you. They do that. So they'll be like, please, oh, people are not accepting your request. They are complaining that they don't know you, right? So you need to make sure one way to grow your connection is by pushing out posts. Like I said, push out posts. At times when I push out posts, I get close to like 500 new, invitation, LinkedIn requests. 500, because I just pushed out a post that people resonated with, right? Another thing you can do is you can also actively engage in other people's posts. If you are the type that says, oh, I just read and pass, the comment section on LinkedIn rather, is a place where you can sell your market. It's a place where you can come and shine. So let's say I'm a personal development coach, and then Gary, pushes out something on personal development. That's my market. I will package what I want to say very well and go on that Gary's post and drop a wonderful comment. I think I did that one time, and I got close to like 20 likes on that post, and I got people reach out to me telling me that, oh, they were sending me connection requests saying, oh, I saw your comment on Gary's post, and I'm like, yes, that's how you should go. That's one way that you can actually build your connection growth. So yeah, so that's about LinkedIn optimization. I hope you got value from it. So now we are going to talk about branding and influence. We're going to talk about branding and influence. So if you're a business owner here and you want to be known, you want to make money from your business, you want to, land that dream job, you need to brand not only yourself, you need to brand your business, but at the same time, you need to build influence, right? So I tell people that every opportunity I've gotten, all the opportunities I've gotten on LinkedIn was from branding and influence. How do I mean? People will just come in my inbox and say, oh, hi, Christabel, I just checked your profile. Can you see my interview that I did with Stratocure? That was like beginning of the year. They contacted me. My interview with Leading Ladies Africa, they contacted me. My first international client that paid me in dollars was on LinkedIn. She said, oh, I just saw you. Let's work together. Can you manage this for me? Right? So you need to build influence. See, don't leave money on the table. Don't leave money on the table. A lot of people want to get money. A lot of people want to move their brand and business to the next level, but they're not ready to put in the work, right? When you Google yourself, what do you see? Is it just Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and that's all? Do you have any written article online? Have you been featured, probably on someone's website? Do you even have a website? Do you have a website? These are the things that are very important. So what are the 4 steps to branding? I'll quickly run through this because this webinar should be for an hour. So the 4 steps of branding is you need to know what you're branding. And by that, I need you to understand that branding is not just about the physical appearance. A lot of people will spend thousands of dollars on logos and thousands of naira on fine pictures. And then when you meet them, empty barrel makes the loudest noise. No, it's more than that, right? Your branding is all-encompassing. By all-encompassing, I mean it has to do with your your physical representation. It has to do with how your customer perceive you. It has to do with the language. It has to do with your persona. So you can't be, okay, so I think last Christmas, myself and my girlfriend, wanted to go out and just chill because we've been, the lockdown and also wanted to chill. And we kind of like searched on Google, places to hang out around GRA. And we got a lot of options. And there was one particular, restaurant I saw that I really loved. I mean, the ambience, there were orchards everywhere, beautiful. And I told her, we are going here. This is where we are going to. And then we got there and the service was whack. We just took our smoothie and left. And then we ended up going to another place. You understand? Branding can bring the people to you, right? Like I said in my, I think that was like last 2 posts, the perception game. Branding can bring the people to you. But if you don't have content, if you don't have value, you would lose them. And that's more painful, right? So one way to build your brand is ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? And then work towards it. Build your online presence. If you don't have a website, now it's time for you to go and build your website. Now having a website is not a biggie. You can do that. You can even own a blog. Basically, the next thing is be empathetic, right? Tell people what you do, but tell them in a good way and a subtle way. You don't have to come out too strong. People say nobody likes nobody likes feeling that they are being sold to. Even though nobody likes buying, that's the truth. We want to buy something because we feel we are the ones buying it, not because you're pressurizing us to do that. Then influence is leadership. Influence is power. Mahatma Gandhi, Mandela, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, just to mention a few. These guys and that amazing woman did all the things they did through influence. They didn't kill anybody. They didn't intimidate anybody. It was through influence. Now, how do you build influence? Influence is a skill. So therefore, it can be learned. Now, that's a good one because a lot of people say, oh, it's only influence is just for a certain number of persons or people. No, if you're ready to build your influence, you can actually learn it. Right? There are some characteristics of influential people. They are honest, they are trustworthy, they're empathetic, they hold you accountable. Those are major characteristics that you can work on, right? So an influence is built on service and sacrifice. So take, for example, when I was starting off, when I started off on LinkedIn, I did a lot of pro bonos, and I still do pro bonos. Maybe not as much as I used to, but I did a lot of pro bonos because I knew that at that time, those people couldn't afford what I was charging, right? But I knew I had to give. I knew that there were people that, needed to hear my story. There were people that needed to identify with what I've gone through, and probably maybe they could even heal from it. And, so I sacrificed a lot. Right? So when people were saying, no, I won't come for this show, or I won't come for this speaking engagement until you pay me nothing less than $250, I'm like, you know what? Just foot my transport bill, I'm fine. Right? So influence is built on sacrifice and services. If you're not service-oriented, you might not build influence, really. And influence is deliberate, right? So I know there might be someone here saying, oh, Christabel, these things you're saying, these things are amazing, da 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 da. I really want someone that would hold my hand and show me. Like I said, when I started off, it was a bit overwhelming for me because I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to say, okay, come and show me. In fact, I remember reaching out to some people and they weren't even paying attention, probably because nobody knew me, right? They're like, who is she? You send them invites, they will not accept, right? So I desperately needed someone, like a coach, to hold me by the hand and say, okay, show me what to do. And I didn't get that. So I had to walk, I had to struggle, everything I did, I had to do that by myself. And then, by the grace of God, I was still able to build my brand. Now, if you're here and you want to build your brand, you want to take your business to the next level, where you can start earning not only from your business, but you're not just only earning, but you're impacting lives. Then I have a masterclass coming up on the 27th, right? And I have just 10 slots. Yes, 10 slots because I want it to be more like a close-knit, community, right? So the benefit of the masterclass is would have a 3-hour masterclass, which will come up on the 27th, right? And then after that, I would create a Telegram group for all 10 of you guys, whereby I would personally, I repeat, make sure that your profile is optimized, help you with your content strategy together, make sure that you get started and build your influence, your online presence and the like. So I'll be dropping the the link for payments. Okay, so my masterclass normally goes for 50K, 50,000 naira, but there's a 50% discount, which is 25,000 naira now, right? The master class in itself is on the 27th, and I have just 10 slots available. No more, no less. I don't want crowds. It's not a community gathering. Once I have that sorted, I think the deadline is next week, Saturday, right? So once I have that sorted, I would contact you all, check your profile, and then we can start. The first quarter of the year is almost gone. I feel that we can do something in the second quarter. Remember, I said everything I've achieved on LinkedIn, it's from my own sweat. I will say it, and nobody can go and say, oh, it's a lie, she's lying, because it's a fact, right? I had to, work and do all the dirty work. Now I've done that for you. You don't have to do it. All I just need is people that are teachable, people that are really ready to move their business to the next level. The link is there. Once we get our 10 persons, we are good to go. So we can take questions. If we have questions, please let's take questions, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you so much for joining once more. This has really been good. Yeah, good. So if you have questions, please let's take your questions, and then we can, call it a wrap. We can call it a wrap if we have questions. Do we have any question? Do we have any question? Guys, please, if you have questions, please ask. If you don't have questions, we can call it a wrap. If you don't have questions, we can call it a wrap. Do we have any question? Okay, so the link, the payment link, what value will a business gain? Okay, Isaac is asking, what value will a business gain? That's a very ambiguous question. Business gain from, is it influence or from branding or from, okay, what value will a business gain from branding? I would say a lot, because like I said, perception is key, right? Most times what you need is you need access to the gate. Once you have access to the gate, then you can now tell people, oh, this is what I can offer, or these are the things I can do. But if you don't have access in the first place, you cannot tell people what you do, right? So the value that businesses would gain, if especially you sign up for the masterclass, is you're going to see like a 50% increase in sales. I'm not even joking. I worked with a client, an international client, and I remember when we started, she had a LinkedIn connection was about maybe 450 or 490 thereabout. And at the end of our 1-year contract, she had over 6,000 connections on LinkedIn. Her sales doubled, from like maybe 10, 20 to about 30%. Her brand skyrocketed, right? So the thing is, people, what you don't know, you don't know, right? What you don't know, you don't know. So you need to make sure that you're doing it right. You need to make sure. So if you have the access, if you have access to someone that can say, oh, show me, my mom will say, person where no road, follow person where no road, right? What she's trying to say is go with somebody that understands the flow, and then you would get it right. So yeah. Then Tosin said, how can I be the go-to person in my niche? By telling them that you're the best person there is in your niche at that time. Let me tell you, what you tell people stay with them. I remember when I wanted to be a LinkedIn influencer, and I was telling a friend of mine, I said, oh, I'm going to be a LinkedIn influencer. And she said, oh, but you're already a LinkedIn influencer. You have like 15,000 connections. I said, but I'm not a LinkedIn influencer. She was like, what does LinkedIn influencer mean to you, Bella? And I noticed that she was right. I was already a LinkedIn influencer, but just that I wasn't communicating that to people. So how can you be the go-to person in your niche? By constantly giving out value. By giving out value. Now, if you're just starting, what I would advise is you go for you do a lot of pro bonus. People frown at pro bonus because people say, oh, they don't pay me. They're not going to pay me any money. Why should I come and talk and sweat and everything? But the thing is, when you do that, you're putting yourself out there. Write engaging articles, especially in your niche. Tell people, so for example, if you're an email marketer, you can tell people that, oh, do you know these are the 5 steps to, getting, great sign up with your email list. When you begin to talk about what you do constantly, people will begin to see you as an authority in that field, right? So when NGO We Listen from India reached out to me to be a part of their webinar on mental health advocacy, guess what? They did that because, right, they saw that on my profile, I was always advocating for mental health awareness, you know. I was always saying, okay, these are the things you should do, da 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 da, you know, okay, ways that you can help someone struggling through depression and the rest. So they could tell because I became an authority in that field, right? So you need to constantly remind people. It's a game of attention, because you're not the only person in your niche. You know that you're not the only person. I'm not the only global speaker. I'm not the only personal development coach. I'm not the only LinkedIn influencer. But the fact that you keep hearing from me, you keep seeing the things I'm doing, then you're like, okay, you know, in your unconscious mind, you're already getting it that, oh, this is what she does. So when someone says Christabel Ikpen, you're like, ah, Christabel Ikpen, she's an author. Oh, she's an email marketer, right? So that's how you can be, you know, the go-to person in your niche. Let them know that this is what you do. Always give out value. Do a lot of pro bonos. Put yourself out there. Be visible, and that's where branding comes in. That's where influence comes in. Be seen. And also, you need to tap into their emotions. I don't really talk about this often, but it's very important. Tap into their emotions. Let them know that you have blood running in your veins, right? Let them know that, oh, this is who I am. This is the kind of person I am, right? I am also human. I also feel emotions. I don't want to do business with somebody that I feel is rigid. I want to do business with someone that I know understands me to an extent, right? So that's how you can be the go-to person in your niche. I hope that helped. Do we have any other question? Remember the LinkedIn optimization, the LinkedIn influence masterclass is coming up on the 27th. We have slots for just 10 persons. The link to register is in the comments and also in the description. Deadline is next week, Saturday. So yeah, do we have any question? In the absence of none, we can call it a day. I hope you got value. Yeah, so is there any question? Did I answer your question correctly? Tosin, Isaac, did I answer your question correctly? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you guys for making our time, you know, to be here. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's it, guys. Yeah, we did it. Okay, so I think that's all. I wish you all a very great weekend. Don't forget, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please follow me. Please, if you have not subscribed, Ejo, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on your notification. We'll be giving you a lot of value here. Thank you guys so much, and do enjoy your weekend. Bye. All right.